micro lending, what's the big idea? What do you guys do?
Yeah, look, microlending has been around since the early 80s. It started in Bangladesh. Muhammad Yunus was kind of the founder, right? He's kind of the godfather of the industry. But the idea was to help those that are in underserved communities, right? There's 4 billion people around the globe that don't have access to financial services. And so these types of programs allow them to borrow capital. They're 30-day loans. They pay back the loans plus interest. And depending on what part of the world you're in, I mean, the interest could be as low as 8%, and in some places it could be as high as 30%. It really comes down to the individual's credit history. And we know for a fact that, probably 80 to 90% of these folks don't have good credit. So they started at a high end on the interest side, but it's there not only for them to borrow capital, but it's there to help them build their credit history, which is very important.
Okay, so let me summarize. What you're saying, what micro lending is to lend a small amount of money to a lot of individuals, maybe in different parts of the world, to earn in order to earn interest, and they will use money to do, other productive things. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and for our, for instance, for us, we know 90% of the loans are for business purposes, because they have to state what the loans are for in their applications. Where we're doing loans in Kenya, these are considered medium to small micro enterprises. We know them as street vendors here in the United States, right? But they're micro enterprises. They specialize in a consumer good. They borrow capital utilizing the microloan platforms. They buy their inventory, they sell it at market, and then they pay back principal and interest, and they start the whole cycle all over again. So it's very important that these opportunities are there for them.
Okay, I want to dig more into that definitely a bit later in this whole interview. But so exactly what do you guys do? So I think you guys are landing in Africa. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, so we are our lending platform is in Kenya. Our co-founders from there. That's why we're there. There's over 400 companies that operate in the microloan platform space in Kenya. The only difference is the minimums that are allowed, the maximum amounts of money, the interest rates. They're different across the board, right? Our minimum amount we lend out is $5 US equivalent to the Kenyan shilling, which is right now, if you look at some of the rates, I believe it's about 125 shillings to a dollar. But our maximum's $500. They're 30-day loans, and depending on the credit history, right? That's how much interest you're going to get charged. And again, we're dealing with low-hanging fruit, right? Most of these folks don't have good credit, so they start at the high end, but they're there to build their credit history, right? So that they can borrow up to $500 and build their credit history. One, most importantly, our bars, they're again, like I said, they're micro enterprises, and this allows them to participate in the economy. And when they participate in the economy, they build confidence, and that confidence spills over into the household, which means the kids are going to school on a regular basis, they're eating on a regular basis. All the little things that we kind of take for granted is so it's very important for these types of programs to be available to them.